The death of a government clerk. One fine evening, a knowledge fine government clerk called Ivan Dmitrich Duseryakov was sitting in the second row of the stalls, gazing through an opera glass at the Couches de Carnaval. But suddenly, in stories one so often meet with this but suddenly, the outdoors are right. Life is so full of surprise. But suddenly, his face perked up, his eyes disappeared, his breathing was arrested. He took the opera glass from his eyes, bent over and a pitch. His knees, as you perceive, it is not responsible for anyone to sneeze anywhere. The saints sneeze, and so do police superintendents, and sometimes even privy councillor, all men sneeze. The Seryakov was not in the least confused. He wiped his face with his handkerchief, and like a policeman, looked around to see whether he had disturbed anyone by his sneezing. But he was overcome with confusion. He saw that an old man and an old gentleman sitting in front of him in the first row of the stall was carefully wiping his belt belt and his neck with his glove and muttering something to himself. In the old gentleman, the Seryakov recognized Brisalov, a civilian general serving in the Department of Transport. I have spared him, thought Seryakov. He is not the head of my department, but still it is awkward. I must apologize. The Seryakov gave chow, bent his wool person forward, and whispered in the general's ears. Pardon, Your Excellency, I spared you accidentally, thought Seryakov. Never mind, thought Bachelor. For goodness sake, excuse me. I didn't mean to, thought Seryakov. Oh, please, sit down. Let me listen, thought Brisalov. The Seryakov was embarrassed. He smiled stupidly and fell to gazing at the stage. He gazed at it, but was no longer feeling this. He began to be troubled by uneasiness. In the interval, he went up to Brisalov, walked beside him, and overcoming his shyness, muttered, I spared you. Your Excellency, forgive me. You see, I didn't do it too, thought Seryakov. Oh, that now. I'd forgotten it, and you keep on about it, said the general, moving his lower lip impatiently. He has forgotten, but there is a faint dislike in his eye, thought the Seryakov, looking suspicious at the generals. And he doesn't want to talk. I thought to explain to him that I really didn't intend, that it is the law of nature, or else he will think I meant to spit on him. He doesn't think so now, but he will think so later. On getting home, the Seryakov told his wife of his breach of good manners. It struck him that his wife took too frivolous a view of the incident. She was a little frightened, but when she learned that Priscilla was in a different department, she was research. Still, you had better go and apologize, she said, or we'll think you don't know how to behave in public. That's just it. I did apologize, but he took it somehow queerly. He didn't he didn't say a word of since. There wasn't time to talk properly. Talk Seriakov. Next day, the Seriakov put on a new uniform, had his haircut, and went to Brisalov to explain. Going into the general's reception room, he saw there a number of petitioners, and among them the general himself, who was beginning to interview them. After questioning several petitioners, the general raised his eyes and looked at Seriakov. Yesterday, at the Arcadia, if you recall it, Your Excellency, the letter began. I sneezed and accidentally spelled exec. What nonsense! It's beyond anything. What can I do for you? Said the general, addressing to the next petitioner. He won't speak, thought Seriakov, turning pale. That means that he is angry. No, I can't be left like this. I will explain to him. When the general had finished his conversation with the last of the petitioner and was turning toward his inner apartment, the Seriakov took a step toward him and muttered, Your Excellency, if I venture to trouble Your Excellency, it is simple, from a feeling, I must say, of regret. It was not intentional. If you will graciously believe me. The general made a lecherous face and waved his hand. Why, you are simply making fun of me, sir, he said as he closed the door behind him. We're the making fun in it, thought the Seriakov. There is nothing of the sort. He is a general, but he can understand. If that is how it is, I am not going to apologize to that fanfaron anymore. The devil take him. I will write a letter to him, but I won't go by love. I won't. So talked to Seriakov as he walked home. He didn't write a letter to General. He pondered and could not make up the letter. He had to go next day to explain in person. I ventured to disturb Your Excellency yesterday, he muttered. When the general left, inquiring eyes upon him. Not take fun, not to make fun as you were pleased to say. I was apologizing for having spared you in sneezing, and I didn't dream of making fun of you. Should I dare to make fun of you? If we should take to making fun, then there would be no respect for the person there would be of, yelled the general, turning suddenly purple and shaking all over. What? Asked Cheryakov in a whisper, turning numb with horror. Be off, repeat the general, stamping. Something seemed to give way in Seryakov's tunics. Seeing nothing and hearing nothing, he reeled to the door, went out into the street, and went streaking along, reaching home mechanically, without taking off his uniform. He lay down on the sofa and died. Thank you.